Finally, Fatah reforms. Well, I've just said it. The reforms means he becomes more accountable. He's no longer Arafat. He's no longer the leader of the old guard. He is now a lot more accountable man. Fatah has become more democratic. He needs to be transparent with them. And he feels this is something he is not good at. Part of what he is doing is actually to punish Fatah, not just the US and Israel, for what he feels have done to him. So what is his game plan? His game plan is to start a process, as I said, of destabilization. He starts by announcing that he isn't going to run. Actually, he wanted to start by announcing his resignation. He was convinced that this was a more dramatic step, that he needs to do something that was reversible and not resign. So he decided not to resign. But I believe resignation is going to come. It might not be the next move. The next move, if any of you has any plans to go to Ramallah, and if any of you today thinks that you've made an appointment to see Abbas, forget it. He is not going to see you. He will start cutting ties. He will start shutting himself off. Then he will resign. And when he resigns, everybody else will resign. No one is going to want to stay once Abbas resigns. That means Fayyad will be forced to resign. Now, if someone decides to contest the elections, he says he isn't going to run, they have to think about the platform. If the platform is a peace process platform, forget it, because nobody else is better than he is for that platform. And he is resigning because he says there is no peace process anymore. The diplomacy has failed. Negotiations are futile. And therefore, no one can contest the next elections adopting his vision, because his vision is dead. That is what it means if he goes along with the steps that I've just described. So what he intends to do is to start shocking the system one step at a time, in the hope that before it becomes too late, before the PA is completely dissolved, someone will take a sane step and try to put the peace process back on track before it becomes too late. So what if that doesn't happen? There are two possible alternatives. One, that the Palestinian National Movement, Fatah, and Fayyad in particular, will go unilateral. That is what Fayyad had said. The idea of a Palestinian state in 2 years with Israel, if Israel is willing to go along, or despite Israel's objections, if Israel doesn't want to go along, is a unilateral approach to ending Israeli occupation. Now, many people might want to go along that way, particularly within Fatah. Not everybody, but many. In the survey I've told you about among Fatah delegates to the 6th Congress, the 2,300, we found that 60% of them actually work for the PA, in the security services or in the civil sector. In other words, these people have a vested interest. It affects their pocketbook. What happens with the PA? They want the PA to continue, and they want it to continue even if the peace process is failing, and even if state building is done unilaterally. So Fayyad will have some friends, but 3 questions he still doesn't know how to answer. One, what about the borders of the state? If we go unilateral, what borders are we going to have? 67 borders is what Palestinians want, and he has absolutely no way of guaranteeing that he gets the 1967 borders. Second, what about Jerusalem? He needs to say something about the capital. So far, his unilateral plan doesn't have any answer about Jerusalem. Thirdly, who controls the international crossings? If it is Israel, then it's not a state. So he has to figure out a way in which he can answer these 3 questions. He, at the moment, is the most important individual in the Palestinian Authority who thinks unilaterally. He needs a lot more strong personalities from within Fatah to come on board. So far, very few have been willing to expose themselves and come on board because they still do not have answers to these 3 questions. A second alternative is to actually make the dissolution of the PA a strategy, in the hope that without the PA, there will be a de facto one-state outcome. How Palestinians will get there, what strategy they will adopt, violent, non-violent, etc., is something that at the moment nobody is agreeing on. For the most part, the majority of Palestinians do not believe in nonviolence. And in the survey, again, that I talked about among the delegates to the Congress, 2/3 told us that violence so far has been helpful in achieving Palestinian national rights in ways that negotiations could not. In other words, if indeed Abu Mazen's message filters down to Fatah rank and file, violence could not be precluded. Where to go from here then? Answer to Tony's question, what do we need to do? Sorry, Toni, I don't have time to tell you, but I would certainly want the administration to go permanent status and define the borders of the Palestinian state as fast as possible. But to be honest, I'm as pessimistic about the administration as Abu Mazen is. Thank you.
Khalil, thank you very much. It was an extraordinarily thoughtful and provocative